The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race officially concluded from Talladega Super Speedway, and we see a lot of chaos, a lot of carnage, and a lot of big wrecks, and Grant Enfinger picks up his first win of 2024 and advances to the Championship 4 at Phoenix. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race from Talladega Super Speedway, the Love's RV Travel Stop 225. We have quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So before the green flag dropped in today's race, Keith McGee and Bailey Curry would have to go to the rear of the field. Keith McGee for a driver change and Bailey Curry for an engine change. So at the start of the race, you had William Swatch lead the field from the inside with Ben Rhodes on the outside, and William got a decent start and was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, you had Grant Enfinger, who was charging his way up to the front on lap number 1. He got a fantastic run, and he was able to clear coming down the line and would lead lap number 1. Then Chase Purdy and Grant Enfinger would battle side by side for the lead for a little bit, with Chase Purdy leading a lap. Then Grant Enfinger led for a lap, and both drivers were able to continue leading. And Matt Mills also got the lead for a little bit, with eventually Grant Enfinger getting the lead back. Meanwhile, Ben Rhodes had multiple penalties early in this race. Ben Rhodes got a penalty for jumping the start technically at the beginning of the race. William Swatch was supposed to come to the line or the restart line first, and unfortunately he kind of jumped that and got ahead of him and would have to come down pit road. He also got a penalty for a blend line violation. You're not supposed to go above the track until you get to turn number 2. That's been a rule NASCAR's had for a very long time. He went above the line and would have to come serve that penalty. So then, the race continued on. Grant Enfinger and Chase Purdy continued battling side by side, and they both continued dominating. And coming to the white flag of stage number 1, they both continued battling, but Matt Mills got a fantastic run and was able to get the run to the outside and was able to clear for the lead. Grant Enfinger tried everything to get back by Matt Mills, but it wouldn't work, and coming out the final corner, Matt Mills would come off the corner and win stage number 1. Then during the caution, Ben Rhodes would get the free pass, and then William Swatch during this caution, unfortunately, had a battery issue, and then it turned into an alternator issue for William Swatch. He had some major issues on the car, tough break for a driver who won his first career Truck Series pole. He would unfortunately have to go behind the wall because of the issues. And then all lead lap cars would come down pit road, except Stuart Freeze and Matt Craft and Spencer Boyd. And there were some very big issues. Tyler Ankrum basically had to back up a little slightly after sliding low in his pit box. But Nick Sanchez, who actually pitted at the end of stage number 1, he decided to stay out to play some strategy. And then on the restart, Nick Sanchez lead the field from the outside with Grant Enfinger on the inside. And we also saw Taylor Gray come down pit road on the restart because he had a left front tire that went flat after a puncture and would nearly go a lap down. And we saw some really good racing for the next 2 laps between Grant Enfinger and Nick Sanchez, battling really hard for the race lead for the next 2 or 3 laps. And then later as the race continued coming on, they caught Taylor Gray on lap number 38. Then everything kind of changed. Matt Mills and Seven Parsons made contact going down the front straightaway, and the big one or the small one was strike. Nick Sanchez was to get turned by Connor Zilisch after Christian Eckes was running into the back of him. Connor Zilisch really had nowhere to go and he got in the back of Nick Sanchez. And then unfortunately Ben Rhodes, Johnny Sauter, and Chase Purdy also got collected in the wrecking incident. Some are going to blame Connor Zilisch for that. I put more blame on Christian Eckes and some on Nick Sanchez as well. Connor really had nowhere to go in that situation. There was really nowhere to go, unfortunately, for him. So unfortunately that caused the incident and wreck. I feel bad for Nick because Nick really did nothing wrong there, but Nick got turned. Luckily, Nick didn't have a ton of damage, and his day wasn't completely over, but a really big, tough break for there nonetheless. So because of that, this would go ahead and end stage number 2, with Grant Enfinger coming out the final corner and winning stage number 2. Then all lead lap cars would then come down pit road with Christian Eckes and Jake Garcia and those winning the race off pit road. I believe also Roger Kroof won the race off pit road. And then we saw Matt Craft and Spencer Boyd, Nick Sanchez, Taylor Gray come down, and then all the other leaders came down pit road. So then on the restart, you have Raj Kroof lead the field from the inside, but Daniel Dye on the outside, and Daniel Dye got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead, and he would continue to dominate for the next few laps. Meanwhile, the outside line really started forming up as the laps progressed and went on, and Christian Eckes, he got a really great run and blocked the run there, and basically had great racing between Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, and Daniel Dye, with eventually Grant Enfinger being able to clear for the race lead, but Christian Eckes clearing as well. And then with 38 laps to go, green flag pit stops would ensue. Stuart Freeze, 32 to go. Stuart Freeze and Lane Riggs, Dean Thompson, Corey Heim, Tanner Gray, and Ty Majeski came in. Then 4 laps later, Christian Eckes, Grant Enfinger, Roger Kroof, Seven Parsons, Matt Mills, Jake Garcia, Caden Honeycutt, Nick Sanchez, Tyler Ankrum, Ryan Reed, Danny Bone, Corey Roper, Connor Zilisch, Matt Crafton all came down pit road. Unfortunately, Norm Benning spun on pit road after contact with Stephen Parsons, and Roger Cruve came in way too high. He would get a speeding penalty, unfortunately, and this at the time would take him out of contention. And he also had a flat tire and also got a penalty for too many men over the wall. And then we saw some issues between Chase Purdy where he was slow on the racetrack, was able to get to pit row, and then a lot of the other leaders came down. And eventually Roger Cruve came down to lap 60 to serve his penalty. And then on lap number 62, during the caution, the big one was strike. Stephen Parsons made contact with Jake Garcia after Jake Garcia made a little bit of a bad block going into turn number 1. He went back down the racetrack and clipped Lane Riggs, where Lane Riggs went up the racetrack and collected Tyler Ankrum, Taylor Gray, Tanner Gray, Dean Thompson, Matt Mills, and Connor Zilch. Tough break right there. A little bit of a bad block by Jake Garcia. I think that was his fault a little bit, unfortunately. Yes, there were some bad pushes going on in the middle of that, but a tough break for all those drivers involved. Sadly, Matt Mills having a really good day. Connor Zilch was having a pretty good day overall before, of course, the crash in stage number 2, but he was moving his way back up to the front. Just tough break right there and pretty avoidable in my honest opinion. So then on the restart, you had Caden Honeycutt lead the field from the inside with Nick Sanchez on the outside, and then basically Stephen Parsons had to come down pit road because he had a flat tire. And he saw some really good racing between Caden Honeycutt and Christian Eckes, with Christian Eckes moving to the outside line and able to pass Caden Honeycutt for the race lead. And then Nick Sanchez, he got the run and was able to take the race lead from everybody else, followed by Grant Enfinger and Christian Eckes. Then on lap 71, the next big crash would end up taking place. Nick Sanchez got sideways entering turn number 3 after a bump from Christian Eckes, a really bad push going into turn number 3. He would slide up the racetrack and collect Dawson Son and Mason Maggio, and Keith McGee just completely sent it in there and got in him. Keith McGee never hit the brake pedal right there, just really bad move on Keith McGee's part, who took over his car from Brian Doza, by the way, which I don't understand why Brian Doza wasn't in the car today, but Keith McGee just didn't hit the brake pedal. They told him on the radio, apparently they act like an ARCA race, and that was just unacceptable from the 28 team. Really not much you can do in that situation. Just a bad move, in my opinion, from Keith McGee to not hit the brake pedal. So then we get to the final restart with Grant Enfinger leading the field from the inside with Taylor Gray on the outside, and Grant Enfinger got a lead and Christian Eckes moving to second, and they would all go single file. Everyone's trying to set up to make the move. With about 5 or 6 laps to go in the race, drivers like Roger Cruve, Brett Holmes, Stephen Parsons, Clayton Greenfield, and Corey Heim were starting to make moves up to the outside with around 4 laps to go. But then Corey Heim and Roger Cruve made contact, exiting turn number 2, basically ending that opportunity at the time to make the move. Coming to 2 to go, Grant Enfinger had the race lead over everybody else, and Roger Cruve would then make the move to go to the outside lane, and the outside line was starting to make their move, coming down into the white flag. Grant Enfinger would have the lead as it came to the white flag over Christian Eckes and a couple other drivers, and they all started making their moves to the outside. And guys like Taylor Gray were coming up to the outside, Lost Allen was making his move, and drivers started getting squirrely on the white flag of the race. Grant Enfinger would hold off some really big hard charges, some blocks would come into play, and coming down to the tri-oval, Taylor Gray had a really great run, and then the big one was strike coming down the front straightaway. Some big wrecks started happening. Daniel Dye, Ryan Reed, Tyler Ankrum, all crashed coming down the front straightaway. Other drivers get involved, including Ty Majeski, Stuart Freeze, and Corey Heim. This would bring out the caution. There would be a photo finish between Grant Enfinger and Taylor Gray, with Grant Enfinger holding off the charge and getting his first win of the 2024 season, winning it under caution because NASCAR, for whatever reason, decided to throw the caution even though they had not come across the line. Grant Enfinger absolutely had the dominant truck in this race. He was the fastest truck all day long, led the most laps in this race, won stage number 2. This is one of the best performances Grant Enfinger's had all year, and this also is his first win at Talladega since 2016. I think it was going to be really hard to beat that 9 truck. He was up front all day long and knew that 9 truck was going to have pace and speed. I thought it would come more to short track, to be honest. But this also with Jeff Singowitz, who won the race with him back in 2016. A big win from Grant. This also is the first win for CR7 Motorsports. That's really huge for that team and organization. So congratulations to that team on picking up the win as well. A really big deal. Congratulations, of course, to Grant Enfinger on picking up the win. He's also going to the Championship 4 because this, of course, is a round of 8 race. If you win the race, you go to the Championship 4. Grant Enfinger will go to the Championship 4. So that's really big for Grant to have a chance to try to get redemption after what happened last year in 2023 at Phoenix. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results. I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race. So Grant Enfinger picks up the victory. Taylor Gray finishes second. Really close to picking up the win, lost by 41 of a second. Came very close picking up his first career Truck Series win. He still had a really good day, all things considered. Got some stage points throughout the day. It was up in the top 10 majority of the race. A great day for Taylor. He finishes second. Daniel Dye finishes third. He was in multiple incidents and wrecks throughout this entire race and still comes home in the top 5. One of his best finishes of the year so far. A really good day for the 43 team. A great run for him. He finishes third. Roger Krug finishes fourth. A really great comeback for Roger Krug after the speeding penalty. He legit had a top 5 truck at points and led a few laps in this race, but unfortunately lost track position, but survived all the carnage and wrecks at the end of the day and gets a very strong 4th place finish. He's been getting better as years progress and going on. A really good day for Roger. He finishes in 4th. Lawless Allen finishes 5th. He was in position to win the race, had a shot at getting it done, made some bad blocks at the end, but to get, I think, what is his first ever top 5 finish in trucks, a really good day for him. He finishes in 5th. Christian Eckes finished 6th, made some pretty bad blocks throughout the day, was making some really bad pushes as well. Still a really good day for Christian, led a ton of laps. He still led, I believe, in every single race so far in 2024. A pretty good day for him. He finishes in 6th. Ryan Reed finished 7th. He was wrecking coming across the checker flag, was on fire, and still comes home in a top 10 run. Really glad to see Ryan Reed back, and pretty cool to see him have a chance and opportunity to win in his return. A good day for him. He finished 7th. Seven Parsons finished 8th, was involved in a couple incidents throughout the day, but survived at the end and got a very solid top 10 in 8th place. Really good day for Stephen Parsons. Brett Holmes finished 9th. Quiet day for him. Comes home in the top 10. And Spencer Boyd comes home with a 10th place finish. He qualified decently today and ran top 20 at the end and gets a top 10 finish. Good day for Spencer Boyd. 11th place finisher Corey Heim. Corey Heim had a good truck at points. Really never a truck that was going to be capable of winning, but did run top 15 the majority of the day. Got involved in some of the wrecks at the end. He finished 11th. Pretty good day for him. Ty Majeski finished 12th. Qualified very, very well, but lost track position early. Was never really a major factor for the win. He finished 12th. Stuart Friesen finished 13th. Tyler Ankrum finished 14th. He lost a lot of points on the playoffs line, unfortunately. Not a great day for him. He finished 14th. Clay Greenfield gets top 15 and 15th place. Pretty good for him. Corey Rober finished 16th. Danny Bone finished 17th. Mason Maju, who's involved in a couple race wrecks today, he finished 18th. Caden Honeycutt was up front near the end of the race. He finished 19th. And Jason White finished 20th. Norm Benning finished 21st. Nick Sanchez, after having a flat tire near the end of the race, he finished 22nd. Matt Crafton finished 23rd. Dawson Sutton finished 24th. Chase Purdy finished 25th. Keith McGee, after running in the back of a truck, he finished 26th. William Sawalch, who had the power and battery issues, he finished 27th. Lane Riggs, after a really strong last 4 or 5 weeks, he got caught up in that big wreck incident. He finished 28th. Jake Garcia continues to have a disappointing year so far. He did qualify really well, much better Haley Deegan did, but not a great day for him overall. He finished 29th. I think he's had 4 consecutive races with finishes outside the top 20. Pretty disappointing day for him. Tanner Gray finished 30th. Matt Mills, after a really promising start to the day, he finished 31st. He did get a stage win, which is really good to see, but outside of that, not a great day for him. He finished 31st. Dean Thompson finished 32nd. Connor Zilch, who got caught up in another incident wreck that was not his fault. He was legit really good until the end of stage number 2. He was legit inside a top 5 majority of the race until the big wrecks. He finished 33rd. Johnny Sauter finished 34th. Disappointing day for the 16 team overall. Ben Rhodes finished 35th. And Bailey Curry finished last in 36. So now we're talking about the overall race as a whole. I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race. I thought the racing today was pretty solid. Sure, it wasn't the greatest super speed race in the world, but he had a lot of side-by-side up front, and he had guys making some pretty aggressive and pretty big moves throughout this event. He had guys trying to make it 3-wide, get that third lane working, which is kind of rare for the truck series, see that work. So that was really cool to see. I thought the racing in first 2 stages was pretty good. The ending, when you had everyone just kind of sitting there for the final 10 laps, I wasn't a big fan of that. I like to see drivers kind of go all out and race at the end of these events, but sometimes they're going to have that. But I really did not like the fact that no one really tried to make the move to the white flag. You cannot wait till the last lap of these races to make moves. You got to start making moves with 3 to 4 to go, especially if you're in that first 5 or 6 positions. I get you want to get a good finish, but you've got to start making the moves if you're going to go for the win, and no one really tried to make the move at the end of the day. My score of today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, because of the finish and all that stuff, I'm going to give today's race overall a 7.5 out of 10. I think this race had good moments for sure. It was solid at points today, but it wasn't the greatest super speed race in the world. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now let's talk about Fox's coverage. I've been very critical of Fox's coverage all year long, but I've been kind of quiet about it the last few weeks. Today was one of the worst broadcasts Fox has put on this whole entire season. Terrible camera work, so many commercials. They had a full screen commercial, literally with 6 laps to go in stage number 1. That's unacceptable. I don't care. Look at the Cup race, for example. They're going to be showing no full screen commercials during green flag action. At least do a side-by-side commercial so we're actually seeing the action on the racetrack. They missed wrecks throughout the day. They had terrible camera shots. They really didn't get that Keith McGee wreck that great until one of the other shots. They were having terrible camera angles and all this stuff. The commentary was boring. Overall, Fox's coverage today was probably a 2.5 or 3. It was embarrassing today, and I really hope that they get off Fox in the future because Fox just showed today that they do not care. And also another thing, can we stop starting these races late so we're not running into issues? We got very lucky to get this whole race in, but I know they shortened the race up by 10 laps, which is a good thing because they wouldn't have got this race in today had they basically not shortened it up. So they got to work on that going forward, in my opinion. And I feel like the later start times, especially on a Friday, a little bit unacceptable, to be honest with you. So, that is going to be today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race review from Talladega Superspeedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and congratulate Grant Enfinger on picking up the win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we'll have the NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Talladega Superspeedway. We also have an SVG video dropping, reactions to Cup Series qualifying as well. Then on Sunday, whatever that big Trackhouse announcement is, we might talk about it here on the channel. And we also will have some other videos dropping this weekend at Talladega. And then, of course, on Monday, there'll be a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We'll be talking about drivers like Haley Deegan potentially, and Shane Van Gisbergen as well, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, you name it, this week. So anyways, like I said, and Kyle Busch as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.